Gesture. Gesture is wonderful, it is beautiful, it is magnificent. However, we have a lot of misconceptions about gesture. Mainly that it is easy. No, gesture is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in art, and also one of the easiest, depending on how you do it. So today, what we have is one of my viewers' work. Artie, say hi to chat. There he is. My man has been going for 133 days of doing gestures daily. This man is a dedicated beast and legend. So, Artie, what is the key behind gesture? Gesture is the capture of flow of energy. To do so, in gesture, we have tools that we can use. These tools are called lines. And specifically, the lines that we have are straight lines, curved lines, and S lines. With these straight curves and S's, you can capture every single bit of energy out of a pose. First of all, let's look at some examples of energy being captured well and energy captured poorly. And we're going to use Artie's old art and new art. This pose on the left here, we have labeled as bad energy. And no,
roasted.
This one here we have labeled as having good energy. One thing that we see about this bad gesture, it has too many straights.
Need to gay it up in there.
And wiggly ass lines. And on top of that, it doesn't feel like there's any force going anywhere. It feels very flirty. Well, this one here, the very first thing I see here is a bit of contraposture. Contraposture just meaning that the hips and shoulders are like this, at an angle to each other. Next thing that we see about the lines is you have a very good mix of straight lines, you have a lot of curved lines, and these straights and curves work together synergistically to lead energy. On top of that, we see a lot of rhythms throughout the body. Rhythms being just lines that connect with each other. So the line from the shoulder here connects all the way down to the bottom of the leg. Same here with this leg over here. So things that provide energy to a pose for good gesture is asymmetry and using simplified curves, straights, and S's. This so far is things that you've been doing great in your gestures. So let's actually delve into the theory behind gesture and how to make good gesture. How do we direct energy? First of all, you know we have these lines, straights, curves, and S's, right? I've said this a million times. These lines are incredibly important because they have direction when put together. A straight plus a curve creates this taper, right? It tapers down. Energy can either go from thick side to thin side or from the thin side to the thick side, depending on how you view it. These lines create shapes, and these shapes direct energy. If you want to make very dynamic shapes, the number one rule that you have to follow is straights versus curves. When you make a shape, you want to pair up a straight with a curve. Asymmetrical shapes have a lot more energy. I think this is where you really need practice with. You have an understanding of line of action. The line of action just being a abstract idea of where the energy of the pose goes. You can feel the force coming in from the legs, pushing up, and transferring into the body here. You can feel the force from this leg, from the toe, reaching up, and all the way here into the shoulder. This right now is what you're doing good. What you're not doing good right now is shape design. Your shape design can be better, especially on the limbs. A lot of your limbs, in the arms, you're thinking of only as lines. I want you to think of shapes, Artie, shapes. First things first, let's focus on this one right here. Here, you have a very, very solid line of action. This curve versus this straight, right? But where it lets you down is the shape design of especially your legs. The way that you design your legs, I'm personally not a fan of. It's not that they look like chicken legs, which they do. It's more so the design. For instance, here, you can have a curve and a straight like this, and make sure that the shape that you design is tapered, meaning one end is thicker than the other. Boom, curve over here, and then straight, straight, curve. Immediately, you can see how much more extra energy there is. The shapes now don't work against the energy of pose. They're now leading the energy. I think as soon as you start employing this into your gestures, you're immediately going to see very, very big improvements. One thing right now that is like being held back in your gesture drawings is your arms. And the gesture of your arms are being held back by your lack of understanding of the forms and anatomy of the arms here. But anatomy, we're doing gesture. Well, here's a little secret here. When you get good enough, gesture becomes part of anatomy, part of figure. But we're gonna get a bit ahead of ourselves. So let me give you a recipe on how to draw arms. Now, this recipe, I want you to modify. As you learn more about arms, more about the anatomy, and learn more about gesture, figure, and the sort, I really shouldn't be doing this while I have food in my mouth. Give me a second. Okay, so, arms. With straight arms, this is how I want you to draw arms. With straight arms, you have a straight, break it down about into half, and then you have bam, bam.
Wham bam, thank you, man.
That is now your arms. You have a straight, and this S right here. At the end here, you can just put a little triangle thing here at the end as the arm. So if you imagine a body, boom, This is how you now draw arms that are straight. So you got a straight line for your forearm. Sorry, for your upper arm. Straight line for your forearm. For your forearm here, now you have this S line. Boom. It terminates at the wrist. And for your upper arm, you have this S line as well. This here's the shoulder, this here's the bicep, and it leads into this. This now is the design for your arms. Here it connects to the chest, let's say. Okay, let's see this all done in action. I'm guessing you start off with the head, then you draw a beanbag. From there, you start drawing the limbs depending on the thing. So I'm only going to be using the methods that I gave you. So straight, I do my S curve, right? And then my S for the arm. And let's say we have a straight arm here. Bam, bam. Then for the leg, let's say this man is standing, and boom. So immediately it has more energy, right? You can feel the energy of the leg, you can feel the energy of the arm hanging down, right? When you're doing gesture is purely for the energy, right? Ideally, when you start getting better, you can add in more things to your gesture, right? Then I can start adding smaller, like, anatomical information to my gesture, right? You do gesture for, like, doing a cardio, right? You wouldn't then expect to be, like, doing, like, hill sprints while on your, like, park run, you know? But it gives you the nice base to add on the anatomical knowledge for your figure. So this is how you start turning your gestures into figures. And boom. This is now your guide to drawing JoJo poses. God damn it, I just drew a JoJo pose.